Welcome to another episode of Raj's Tech Talks. Today is going to be very interesting. So, we've been talking to executives about how they perform, things like that. But today we're going to talk about how biology affects their performance, how their brain, what we think is a stable machine, how does it work. So, most leadership advice assumes around brain being stable. So you add strategy, you add processes, you add willpower, you do this, that, all kinds of strategy or processes discussion happen. But in a high pressure environment, psychology drives clarity, judgment, and resilience. So we are unpacking what changes when you treat performance as biology first and what executives can do this week. Today, I'm honored to have Donna O'Connor, founder and CEO of And Heal, focused on biology-informed leadership performance and organizational capacity. Donna brings system-level perspective from biology, nursing, and functional medicine training. She has 15 years of entrepreneurial and executive operations. Her work translates stress, psychology, energy stability, and early burnout signals into practical operating habits that leaders can use in making real world decisions. With that, let me introduce Donna. Donna, would you introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for having me here. And it's a pleasure as well. So let me just tell you quickly. I spent a lot of my early career inside high demand environments where performance was measured by output, speed, and decision quality. And what I started to notice over time is that even strong leaders, experienced, capable leaders, would become less consistent under sustained pressure. Not less committed, not less disciplined, just less consistent under sustained pressure, less stable in how they thought and decided. So most organizations interpret that as strategy issue or a leadership issue, and it's very common. What I focus on now though and heal is the layer underneath that. It is how biological load and cognitive stability actually shape leadership performance and over time, organizational capacity. Because the pattern shows up in the organization long before anyone knows how to name it. And that's how we came up with And Heal.
Oh, wow. That's never thought about this type of thing that will affect the performance of a leader. Anyway, thank you. This is a new to me as well. So now let's talk about this performance. How is biology tied to performance? What are the give us examples? I mean, for those who have never known something like this exists.
That's a great question. Performance and decision quality. In most organizations, what breaks first isn't strategy, and they think it is. It's actually the consistency of decision making under the same conditions. Let me give you an example. In leadership team that used to resolve a hiring decision in one meeting now needs 2 or 3 conversations to reach the same outcome. And I don't know if you noticed that. It's nothing about the team change. Same people, same experience, and same expectations. What actually changed was the clarity behind how decision was made. And that's usually not a capability issue. It's a shift in how stable their thinking is under sustained load. What's important is that this often gets misread as a process issue or a communication gap. So the organization adds more structure and steps. But what you actually see over time is decisions looping and alignment taking longer and the same leadership team producing different outcomes across similar situations. That's usually the first signal that something underneath performance is shifting.
Can you give an example of such a biological variable? Just give one example, just so that our audience know what that is. Okay, then you can relate. Oh, yeah, this has been going on with me. Now I know what it is.
Absolutely. So you can just think of, today is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. And Monday is normally a crazy day, right? We're always trying to catch up with what we have not accomplished or finished the week before. So what happens is that this is causing us a lot of stress. And you may not notice it, but maybe the night before or last night, you didn't sleep well because you're thinking, okay, well, it's already midweek, and how am I supposed to finish it? I've only got 2 more days left. So all that comes back as you're thinking it's just stress, it's part of my job, I'll just push through it and I'll be fine, I'll get it done. But the fact that you're just trying to do what you need to do really is just the surface. There's a deeper layer that's causing it. We talk and think about just stress, but what is really causing the stress? So you look down deeper. How is your day affected by what you eat or the time that you spent resting the night before? And all the good stuff going on internally, all those are physiological, all those are biological that truly we tend to ignore because it's not that we don't know about it or we're not aware about it, but it's just because this has been part of our life and we think it's normal.
Gotcha. And of course, yeah, how many people can do deep sleep, right? You're always thinking about some problem or the other every day. Hey, I need to do this tomorrow. I need to do this day after tomorrow, things like that. That happens, right? That happens. And of course, if you have a workload problem, how is this biological and here can help, right? Because the workload is not going to stop, right? Just because you're, having a better sleep or whatever. So how do you go about dealing with such situations?
So every individual is different, and also depends on your capacity. We age, I'm not sure. I'm 47 and I've noticed this personally. I don't have that same stamina or capacity level as if I was younger. It doesn't mean that I became dumber or I can't think the same anymore. It's just your capacity at your peak is not the same as if you're younger. So we just go back to where, okay, when I was younger, how was my biology like? Everything was fresher, your cells and your metabolism. So we go back, we talk about it and we call it as a biological signal reset. So your body will tell you exactly what you need. And it's when we do our assessment, it's called a signal index. It will literally tell you where it's coming from. And so when you find the root cause, you go back and you have to reset it. And you can't just patch it. You can't just say, okay, well, I'm going to sleep tonight, I'll be better tomorrow, or I'll take a pill and then I'll be better tomorrow. You really have to go down deep and find out the root cause and have a biological reset to where, because it doesn't mean that you're older, that you cannot feel younger anymore. And that's what they think. Oh, I'm just old. What do you keep telling yourself? It's my age. But it's not necessarily true all the time because you can truly go back and reset and have that energy back, the brain fog gone, and you feel youthful, energized again. You don't need coffee 5 times a day. So that's how we do it.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like going back time.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't you
Yeah.
feel like you're youthful again?
Why not? Yes. What are the signals? Like, how do you know, like, looking at a person or interviewing a person, you'll be able to say, hey, this guy is burned out. Hey, he needs to, like, recharge or whatever the process you have. How do you do that?
It's very interesting you ask because it's not typical or normal for especially an executive and the top leader in the company would admit that. They would be like brushing it off and saying, oh, I'm okay. Don't worry about me, right? And that's where we actually need to kind of push a little bit to where, well, we need to take care of you too, because you're the leader of the company and we rely on you. So any capacity at that executive level that's diminished, it affects the overall capacity of the company at the same time. So we rely on our top executives to have a clearer mind and feel good about themselves and perform at the level that they are expected to perform. So when you said that with the leaders and the executives, they actually are the front line that needs this, right?
Yeah, so that's all good. Now you identified the problem. Now how do you go about, like, what are the, like,
The
what do you
signals
do
you're
the first
asking.
7 days or first few days with this executive? What are the clear signals that appear and how do you treat it?
When we do an assessment, we actually ask you a series of questions, not just pertaining to your day to day. Again, we have to go back and ask you about, like I said, it's not individualized, right? It's not just one size fits all. So everybody is different. Like for example, for you, I will ask you questions about your familial history, how you grew up, the type of environment that you grew up from. Is it a stressful environment or is it a stable environment? How was your food outlook when you were growing up? Did you have a regular food on the table? You eat, like regularly 3 times a day? Did you have healthy food? Or what's your environment like? What's surrounding you? What do you tend to grab or gravitate to when you're under stress? Do you reach out for caffeine, or do you reach out for food, or do you just push through? All those will tell me the signals. So it's not like physically I can tell you, but with the company, how they will see those signals is that, okay, you're still functioning, you're still performing, and you're still delivering, you're still the executive. But how is that affecting the company's performance? Are your decisions too up far to the company's expectations, right? Are you reaching your goals? Are you reaching your revenue growth expectations? So those are two different measurements that we can see, okay, this is the signal from the organizational standpoint, and this is the signal where we can actually dig deeper and look at it.
Then the next question comes, right? Like, for example, I go yearly checkup or 6 monthly checkup or whatever, right? So there are traditional wellness programs, right? You mean to say those wellness programs are not good enough, or they're failing the high performers, or what's your take on that? Why do we need a wellness program and then on top of it end heal?
So we have to think about a typical wellness program that's being offered out there as more of a trend base, like, yeah, take a deep breath, do meditation, sleep 8 hours a day, eat healthy food. And those are all good. And then maybe you go on an app and count your calories, do your steps. But again, those are just a trend. What we're really looking at deeper is, for example, you're a man and I'm a woman. We both function differently. What you need is maybe not what I need, because our genes, our genetic compositions are different, right? And so we really have to look at you as an individual, as a man, as a woman, your biological components and your individual experiences. I'm not just going to tell you, no, Raj, you just go and get 8 hours of sleep and you'll be fine tomorrow, right? And your other question is that, how about the healthcare professionals? And we actually work alongside the healthcare professionals because we're not clinical or medical in terms of providing our service. So I can tell you is that if you have a headache, they'll prescribe you with Tylenol or Advil and it will go away, right? But if your headache keeps coming back, do you just keep taking Tylenol or Advil so that you can relieve your headache? Yes, that's one way to address that, and you'll feel better, but temporarily, because it's a patch. Medications, prescription medications especially, they're there for a reason and we use it, but we use it appropriately. But what we need to go deeper is, okay, what's really causing this headache, right? And that's where End Heal comes in. I'm not just gonna tell you, go get some sunlight and fresh air, drink lots of water and your headache will go away, which is true, it will. but again, temporary. Or the doctor will say, take some pain medicine and you'll be fine. Again, it's true, but it's a patch. We're not patching, we're going down deeper to the root cause and really addressing the real issues so that you don't have to experience that.
Yeah. And, switching the topic altogether here, because now we are in age of AI, right? So in the age of AI, right, how is this and heal and AI, how is that gonna help the CEOs to perform at a superhuman level or whatever? Can you tell us about that? How you're using AI or what you're doing with AI?
Well, it's well known that we have to keep up with AI. You're in the IT, and even though I'm older and I catch up pretty quickly, so that I just say that we use AI with just about everything, and we need it. It's very helpful. So when we created and heal, we actually integrated AI right away. It's because biology, physiology, all the science or backed by science information, biology informed, leadership performance, these are all facts. These are all information that had been proven and backed up by science. So it's not something that I'm making it up. So where the AI comes in is the information is out there. Let's use it. So we use AI to gather all the information. After we do the assessment and we create a profile for you, specific to you as an individual, then we can generate a plan of action that's designed just for your own needs, for your own specific needs. And it's just amazing. Really, AI amazes me what it can do and how it can help us. But AI is going to be part of it. And I know people are concerned that it will eradicate or, take away the jobs of many people, which is true in a way. But with what we do, AI is a part of it. It's a big part of it, and it's helping us. And we want to utilize it in the best way possible to help others.
Yes, yeah. Information gathering and then the gathered information, which can lead to a model, which can lead to a what you call experience or a new product or new development. That's what the information is there for, right? So we use that and make the things better, right? So tell us about your story. Like, what made you think that you need to have hand heal, and what do you strongly believe, compared to 10 years ago, what was wrong, and then compare it to what's today now with the AI world, right? So tell us about your story.
So my story and my background actually goes back 15 plus years ago. I was the owner and operator of assisted living facilities, specializing in Alzheimer's or memory care. So with my career for that long, I was able to really see and deal hands on and face to face with elderly, right? And how as we age, you see, oh, I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna get there, right? So how physically you see how they change and how my understanding of biology and physiology actually comes into play because I have a degree in biology and then nursing at the same time. So I understand the process of aging very well and how they have depleted over time and why they got to that point. And so that's my first-hand experience of seeing how the biological capacity actually diminishes over time in just about every individual. And so my background in my business before really helped me a lot to understand where to look in terms of resetting. And so with my experience as an executive CEO of my own business, when I sold that business, I transitioned into consulting to where I dealt with a lot of executives and businesses as well. And so with the gap between being an executive and how they deal with their businesses and their performance, I see that gap where the biology actually plays a big role. And so I said, there is this need and there is something available out there called wellness, but is it really solving the problem, right? And I decided I need to do something to have a real solution to where people like me at this level will actually feel good, will actually feel great. Because over time, there was a point in my life that I didn't feel good anymore. Even though I thought I was healthy, I was doing everything to stay healthy and fit, just in my mind, I didn't feel the way I wanted to feel. And so even before I started And Heal, I actually did everything to myself first and tried it and tested it to where I got results. And that's why I'm very confident and, proud to coming up with And Heal because I know it works.
Gotcha. You tried it on you first.
Absolutely.
Before you, okay, there you go. That's even better. So what's one big takeaway for a senior leader or from this conversation what's the one big takeaway?
Well, that's something that I want to take advantage of. If there is any takeaway from this, I would like to say three things. First is that leadership performance doesn't break. Okay, we have to understand that. It doesn't break. What happens is it grows. And the second thing is that when organizations they feel it as slower decisions, more rework, and less consistency long before anyone names it. And the third and last is that most companies, they try to fix this at the strategy level, which is more most consultants would do, a strategy level. While what's happening is that everything is underneath that. Everything is underneath the strategy level. So I'd like to give something ponder to our audience today. If there is one thing to do this week is that maybe observe where decisions are actually slowing or where decisions are repeating and where decisions are requiring more effort. The question isn't whether performance is being affected. It's really whether the organization can recognize pattern early enough to do something about it.
There you go. Okay. And if our listeners want to get a hold of you and Heal, where they can get hold of you?
We have a website. It's andheal.com, and we have a Google listing as well. And mostly I'm on LinkedIn for most executives and leaders out there. I'm based in Houston. You can reach me by email. It's info@andheal.com, and we have a phone number as well. It's 832-707 2879. I bet. Sorry, 287.
Yeah, but find out from our website. So there's a contact us form there, and then you can fill it out, or there's a contact number. Thank you, Donna. Really honored to have you. And I never thought about biology in this way, but now I'd be open to looking into that.
Absolutely. Be my
Thank you.
guest. Just let me know anytime. And it's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Raj.